Welcome, everyone, to the Modern Day Overthinker podcast. My name is Colin, and I am your host. This week's episode is with Jonathan Bogner. Jonathan is a movie producer, entrepreneur, executive, so many different titles. But there is a story that Jonathan really wanted to tell, and I'm really glad I was able to get him on this podcast to share his perspective on what happened to him. He had a lot of heart issues, to put it lightly, and I'm not going to go into the whole story in the intro, but there is so much to get out of this episode. Learning about perspective. He's had moments of questioning, being stuck like we all have, and he really hammers home having a purpose and healthy habits, getting rid of toxic people, being grateful. Just an incredible story, an incredible outlook this man has after all that he has been through. I do have to say, we did talk about suicide, and it was a very blunt conversation when it came to that topic. It's a sensitive subject, I know. Everyone has their own opinions on it. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. That's what I believe. I'm not going to edit anything out of that. It was part of our discussion, so I'm leaving it in there. Just wanted to give you that trigger warning before you started listening to the episode. And also, I wanted to give a shout out to our sponsor. Our second time having the same sponsor. That sponsor is a Hidden Gem. A Hidden Gem is a vacation rental, 2-bedroom. It is located in the Yacht Club area of Cape Coral. Click the link in the description for more info. This property, Hidden Gem, is just that, a hidden gem. For all the Modern Day Overthinker podcast listeners who do book a stay at the Hidden Gem, let me know. Email mdoverthinker@gmail.com with your confirmation, and I will reach out to the owner and get you your cleaning fee, half of it at least, cut in half. So normally a $200 cleaning fee, and it will only cost you $100 instead. So really grateful to have a sponsor that's new to us, and if you want to get away, spend some time in Florida, perfect place to stay. That being said, we need to get into this episode because you need to listen to it. It's awesome. I really enjoyed Jonathan and letting him just share. He had so much to say. It was great. Jonathan is every podcast host dream because I barely had to talk at all. This guy had a lot to say, and I hope you got out of it what I got out of it. Just so much to take in. Without further ado, this is episode number 73 of the Modern Day Overthinker podcast with Jonathan Bogner. Welcome, everyone, to the Modern Day Overthinker podcast. My name is Colin, and I am your host. Today, we have Jonathan Bogner. Welcome, Jonathan. I'm glad we were able to make this work. You're out in Los Angeles, correct?
Yes, I'm in Los Angeles, California.
Quite a bit away from where I am in Davenport, Iowa. So I appreciate you being able to join me today and be willing to share your story. And I wanted to start off by giving you an opportunity just to give a brief introduction and what we wanted to focus on today, and then we can get right into it.
So I think when we're talking about what happened to me is I about 16 years ago, I had I was selling my movie at Sundance, and we got a great offer, came back home, and I had in the shower, I had 2 strokes, heart failure, and I came out of the 2 strokes and heart failure not being able to speak. So as a producer, and you can't speak, it really impacts you.
Oh yeah.
So I had a business producing movies, and I could not speak, and I lost my business. And I went through, a place that, I could hear you, and and the brain, the synapses in the brains were not connecting, so I just couldn't communicate my thoughts, or I couldn't speak. So I had to go through about a year and a half of speech therapy.
Hmm.
And today most people can't really tell, but I have moments where I stumble from words, and I kind of work around the connections in my brain.
Hmm.
So 16 years ago, I had, as I said, a massive massive 2 strokes, heart failure, aphasia, and then I had what was what at that time it was called a defibrillator that was in my heart. It was a cardiac defibrillator that goes right below my collarbone,
Hmm.
and it's like a little pocket that they carve. And I that defibrillator was able to shock my heart when my heart was not beating directly, and it feels like a taser. I mean, people like, what does it feel like? They always say,
Yeah.
everyone knows, like, those shocks, like in airports and schools, they shock the heart, boom.
Hmm.
I had that in my heart. So I got shocked about you know about I had 2 defibrillators, so I got shocked about 10 times over the course of 16 years, and then ultimately I got a heart transplant.
That took
And
some time,
what?
but that took some time.
Yeah, you mean the getting the heart,
Yeah,
or?
getting the heart took some time. You had to wait. So
Well,
was
I
it
mean,
16 years, right?
well, no, because when I had the when I had the strokes, I was 45 years old, and I did the simple math. How long will a heart last? You usually, if you're in great shape, and you do everything the doctor says, and the heart could last up to about 20 years.
Hmm.
So simple math, if I'm 45, I'm going to die at about 65. So the longer I stalled the heart, the better I was. So I managed to put off getting the heart for 16 years. And and then I got the heart, and it was just like, you know, it's a funny story. When I got the heart, the I got a text message, and it was like 2 o'clock in the 2 a.m. Didn't I ignored the text message.
Hmm.
Then I got a phone call. I ignored that. I'm like, who's calling you at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
hospital? And I didn't put two and two together. And then the nurse kind of came in and knocked, came into me and like, hey, someone wants to talk to you. It's like, who's talking to me at 2 a.m.? And then she said, no, please take the call. Please take the call. And then someone said on the other line, so just want to tell you, you're getting a heart today. And it's kind of shocking, and
Yeah.
and and it feels so real. I mean, like, you were waiting for the heart, you're getting the heart, and then someone said you got the heart.
Yeah.
And so it
And
was
you were
a
in the hospital at this time?
yeah, I was in the hospital for 30 days, waiting for the heart. And in order to get on that list, you had to be listed to get a heart. And originally I was listed as, about 2 years ago, before I need to go to the hospital, I was listed needs a heart, but he's well enough to stay at home. So it's like you're really sick, but you're well enough to stay at home, and you're not technically in the world of getting a heart, you're not that sick.
Category. There's certain categories.
And so you had to get really sick.
Hmm.
I mean, kind of like an interesting story about, getting really sick. I was hooked up to 4 IVs that were keeping me alive. And there's a organization called UNIS. It stands for um, uh, it's the organ epicenter where they allocate all the organs in the United States. And you have to prove every 2 weeks how sick you are. And they pull you off all your, and people die. They pull you off all your IVs, and they make you so sick. And I called my wife saying, like, I think I'm gonna die. This is, I'm teary-eyed. It's like, this is my last goodbye, because
Yeah.
they're pulling me off of my meds. Fortunately, I was on the meds, and they plugged me in again, allowed me to get back to kind of a flat baseline. Did the heart operation, which was 9 hours, and then you think the hard part is done. Got the heart.
Hmm.
Everything is, that's the hard part. And for me, interestingly enough, I got a woman's heart. So it was the same blood type,
Hmm.
and it was the same size, because I'm not a big guy. So I mean, I was not 6'2", or there are guys that they were waiting for 7 months. A guy who was 6'5", and he was over a couple, like over 300 pounds. And those hearts are not readily available.
Yeah. Yeah. They got to do a lot more pumping.
Well, yeah, and then the size. So it
Yeah.
was
The size. Yeah.
the same size. So I got a woman's heart, and I say that in, I was very grateful that I got the donated heart, and
Hmm.
there are no, I feel organ donations are overlooked. I don't know, in your license, in your state, there on your license,
Yep.
give your organ. I mean, there are so many people. Every single day, there's 100,000 people that need an organ. Approximately 10,000 get that organ: heart, kidneys, lungs.
Major
What
organs.
happens to the other 90,000? They die. Or they get deferred, but there's always an average of
Yeah.
100,000 people. And so I got the heart, and I got the woman's heart. And again, I thought everything was great and the hard part was done, but there are unique characteristics from men and women.
Hmm.
And my donor had spasms in her heart. And for the last year, because I've only got the heart a year, I've been in the hospital 2 times, and it always presents like a heart attack. And the first time they really didn't know what to do, and they just sent me home with more drugs, but they really didn't solve it. The second time, they did additional testing, and they found exactly what was wrong. And then they sent me home with the correct drugs. And I would say every day is a challenge, because you don't know what to expect.
Hmm.
um every day is a different challenge. But I just want to make a point with you and your listeners that I didn't do anything dramatically. Getting a heart is pretty dramatic, but my philosophy has evolved in how I conduct myself, moving forward. And I would say everyone in the world has so many issues that they're dealing with, whether it's they got your personal life, your family life, your business life, your financial life, your health life, you know, and something happens and in your regard to your health, and life stops in an instant, and then it's a matter of how you deal with it. And
Mhm.
for me, my wife was such an essential part of she didn't sign up, for richer or poor. She signed up, hopefully it's going to be richer and richer,
Yeah.
but she didn't sign up for poorer and poorer. But health wise, we didn't even consider.
Yeah, you don't really think about that.
We didn't think about health at all. And then it turned out that it was all about the health. And whether you are a CEO or a nurse or a doctor or a plumber or a fireman or mechanic, you have to take one step at a time.
Mhm.
I mean, no one wants to have a doctor is panicking. No one wants to have a leader who's panicking. We don't want to have a fireman who's panicking. You want people to be in control. And the only way to be controlled is in the chaos of your life. You have to focus on the most important things that you need to do today. So you have a list of, in your case, you probably have, a list of things that you want to accomplish every day.
Mhm.
Family life, personal life, business life, podcasting life. You've got so many things going on, and you have to allocate the time, and you have to figure out what is the most important thing I have to do today, and everything else I can do. It doesn't, I mean, you want to do everything, but you have to figure out what is the most important thing you have to do today. And that's almost like triage.
Mhm.
You have to conduct your life like triage, and it's prioritize things. And you just don't want to have like paralysis. Oh, I'm depressed. I can't move forward. I feel depressing to being depressed. I know what it's like to be unhappy. I know what it's like to be um, immobilized. But you have to like take things one step at a time. And I feel like um, it's mental, it's physical, and you have to create purpose in your life. And the way to create purpose in your life is, what do I need? What is the thing that I want to do for today? What
Mhm.
can I do for the next 6 months or a year? And create purpose for your life. And purpose helps you deal with being depressed. And you have to also be physically active. And there's a show on Netflix called the Blue Zone. And all these cultures, all these citizens of the world, there
Mhm.
is one thing that they all share in common. They have to have a purpose in their life, whether it's goat herding or going to the office and making decisions, or it's getting active in your life. You have to walk. You have to physically do things. And I know it's hard for people who are thinking like, oh my God, I just can't get out of bed. But the
Mhm.
fact is, you're thinking. You now know, should I get out of bed? That's a decision. So you have to take things one, and it's so simple, but it's so complicated, one
Yeah.
step at a time. And you have to be mentally aware of what's going on, and you have to kind of work with the people in your family and your caregiver or your wife or people that care about you, even sometimes if you don't care about yourself.
Mhm.
There's something worthwhile that they see and you don't see, but you have to manifest it. That like, what do they see in me that I don't see in me?
Yeah, that's good. That's good perspective to look at because yeah, because I've been at that point where it's like, what am I doing? What am I living for? And then I remember all the people that care about me. I'm like, oh, I have to switch gears. I'm going down a dark path thinking this way.
So I think going down a dark path and you know uh you know it's inevitable that people have joy
Hmm.
and they have sadness, and it's also about maintaining the equilibrium of when you're sad, you're happy. Try to find a balance, and you have to look at like, what do the people think? What does your mom and dad, what do your brothers and siblings, what do your workmates think? They actually see value in you, so you
Hmm.
should see value, and you see value in other people. So you have to kind of um, be intuitive about your own life, and create a purpose that you will get up in the morning and you're going to do one thing today, and the next day you could do two things, or the next day you can do three things.
Hmm. So did you kind of have to? Obviously, you had to build back. Like when you get a new heart, obviously it doesn't. You don't just walk out of the hospital. You're like, yeah, I'm ready to go. It doesn't work that way. So you had to slowly develop a kind of an adaptive lifestyle and slowly get back into becoming yourself, not for lack of a better way to put it, becoming yourself again and living your life the way you want to live it.
And again, every day is a different day, and I
Hmm.
feel like every day you have an opportunity to do it over. So what you said to your significant other, your friends, your family, you can restart the clock. You know what? Today is a different day. Whatever I said yesterday, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to redo everything. I can start again fresh. So what we're saying is that because you're depressed or you have stress, you have to kind of figure out what works for you. And if you've got toxic people in your life, and everyone has toxic people
Hmm.
in their lives, you have to kind of figure out, they're not good for me. They're not good for me. And is it, when you travel, we always know there's the oxygen mask.
Hmm.
You can't look at your kids, you can't look at the person next to you. You have to take control of yourself, pull that mask, breathe, and then you can help people. If
Yep.
you can't breathe, you can't help anyone, right? You're out of
Exactly.
breath. So you have to kind of use that methodology to, like, if you've got toxic people in your life, you have to figure out, and they could be relatives, they could be
Yeah.
your spouse, they could be your sisters, and if they're contributing to your depression, if they're contributing to your downfall, those people are not good for you.
Hmm.
Those people you have to remove. And it's very easy to say, and it's very hard to do. So try to get rid of the toxic people in your life. And what I try to do in my life is try to, I mean, listen, everyone breaks the habit of being super healthy,
Yeah.
and but you have to know what's good for you and what's bad for you. Everyone knows they like fried food. I did a movie and the guy was like eating fried chicken, and he
Yeah.
said everything goes better if it's fried. you know you it I get it. I love fried food, but
Yeah.
there's a limit, because it affects everything about your body. So
Yes.
a little bit of fried food, a a little bit of butter, but then also you have to be very, as we age, we have to be responsible for ourselves first, and the rest of the people in our lives. So you have to worry, you have to kind of do it over every day. You have a chance, and find purpose in your life. What is purposeful in your life, and you have to get physically active. I walk 10,000 steps a day. I work out every day. It's not, I occasionally work out. I work out every single day. If I just do one thing, it's enough. People set themselves up for failure. If you set yourself up for failure, you will guaranteed you will fail. If you set yourself up to do one thing, I'm going to walk around my block.
Mm-hmm.
That's a doable, attainable thing. Walk around your block.
Cool.
The benefits outweigh any negatives. So walk around my block. I did something great today. And reward yourself. Don't like walk around your block and then get ice cream. But if there's something that you'll want to do, or reward yourself. I also believe in a reward system. You can't just walk up the mountain and then at the end of hiking up Mount Everest, what do you get? You could get psychic rewards. Even if you have one of those watches today, everyone has a lot of these,
Yep, I got one.
digital watches. There is a built-in reward, and they're not offering you a membership, or it's like those like what are they called? Like, Publishers Clearinghouse. They're not offering you $1 million.
You don't get a deal. Yeah.
On your watch says good job. That's all people need, just good job. And your watch does that really effectively. So those are the things, that psychic rewards, just getting praise for what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I have never, I've had moments of being depressed. I've had moments of, what am I doing here? I've had moments where I'm waiting that all these drugs are not working. I'm in so much pain. I'm in, and no one is hearing me. But
you just felt stuck.
You're stuck, but it doesn't last.
No, they never do.
The kind of the thing that I'm focusing on, you can't be a victim of your circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be a patient. You have to exercise patience, and you're a patient of circumstances, meaning that being patient, it's a new day tomorrow. We know, like, and you can calendar things. It's like, hey, I'm gonna, it's my birthday in a month. Okay, so what do I want for my birthday? It's Christmas. It's Halloween. There, give yourself joy, the right to enjoy things.
Yeah,
Not
living in the moment.
punish yourself. Life has to be moments of joy, moments of depression, moments of excitement. It's the whole, panoply of emotions. That's what makes people human.
Yeah, it makes you feel like, you can't really experience joy unless you can experience sadness. It's like a yin and yang type of thing.
You're totally right. You cannot experience joy if you've never experienced sadness, depression, but also, give yourself, certain people in most people's lives, they don't experience they always experience like, oh, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm not doing well. The sky is falling. Okay.
Mhm.
The sky will be up, you look at the sky, whether we don't know what the weather's like, but there's still going to be a sky.
Yeah.
Okay. And it will be okay tomorrow. And if it's not okay tomorrow, in a couple days it'll be okay. So you want to fight the negativity that people have in their lives, and go to your job, and even if you're depressed,
Do it
and
anyway. Yeah.
do it anyway. But there's moments where you have the right to have some joy
Hmm.
in your life.
Yeah. And I struggle with that myself. Like, if I'm not doing things the way I want to do them, or I didn't succeed the way I wanted to succeed, and then I didn't win and I didn't deserve it, things like that. I have a lot of that going on in my head all the time. So
Mhm.
I have to change my perspective and remember, yeah, when I have those dark days that, oh, this doesn't last forever, I got to keep going.
Yeah.
It is literally the only way I've gotten through certain days is like, oh, I know this isn't going to last forever. Like, I know I'm going to have a better day, whether it's tomorrow or in a couple days, or maybe later today. It could be better.
Have to exercise patience, you know,
And
and
optimism, as you talked about earlier. We talked about that before we started recording.
yeah, you have to be optimistic. And you know what? Everyone has money problems. And it's the lack of money. It's, I don't have enough money to do this. I don't have enough money to do this. Whatever your monetary threshold is, you never have enough. But
Yeah.
there is a point, if you budget and you can see where you're spending your money, and then you could, deferred gratification. People want it now. They
Yep.
want it immediately because they want to immediate gratification. I'm talking about deferred gratification. And the only way you can have deferred gratification is, you want something, you want something, you want something, save, save, save. And don't buy, don't just do something and buy, as an example, people buy crap.
Yeah.
Right? So your closet or your house is full of crap, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Maybe you should, budget your life, budget your emotions, budget your hopes and fears, and defer certain things and buy quality versus a lot of crap.
Yeah.
So crap is everywhere in our lives. So you have to kind of like figure out what you really want, and budget, and defer things when you can afford it. So money is everywhere. Religious, everyone is some form of religion. So it doesn't matter what your religion is. That's a meaningful place to get support. That's a meaningful place to get shared enjoyment. You can go to your spiritual leader. You could go try to get rid of the toxic people in your life
Hmm.
and manage the stress, manage your own self-imposed stress. Most people are, I need you to do this. And most people will say, I needed you to do this today. I need you to do this week. I don't need it. Or I needed you to do it now. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the most important thing. Do exactly what your boss or the person that needs it now. And then have the courage to say, I did exactly what you wanted me to do. And did you use it?
Mm-hmm.
Did you use what I dropped everything for? Or you're not prioritizing things in a way that I can react to, because everything is a reaction to your impulsiveness. Let's figure out a way that we can work together and communicate, and what is the priority and what can we wait on. So, life is actually simpler than most people think, and they overcomplicate things.
Oh yeah, I know all about that. Yeah.
You know, it's what you put it in and goes out. It's your inputs. Your inputs are what are you eating? And
Mm.
what do you really need that extra shake? I love McDonald's chocolate shakes, but do I need it every single day?
No.
No. I mean, that's where there is an emotional feeling like, if I don't do this, which I can afford, and you know get the word satiated, I get so much food in me, then I can't work.
In a food coma.
You what?
Food coma. Oh,
Food coma.
yeah.
You have to kind of work your food coma out. You have to exercise. You have to it's so easy to say de-stress your life, but all these things, these buzzwords are out. But you have to also have hope.
Yeah.
Hope is so important. If you don't have anything that you want to hope for, and you're just wallowing in your depression, how do you reach bottom? How do you reach bottom? Whether it's you're suffering from addiction, whether you're suffering from parental abuse, um, you know I'm just telling you, I think life is much more simpler than people like make it so complicated.
Mm-hmm. So
And
many distractions too.
well, again, it's what are your priorities?
Mm-hmm.
And if we're discussing your priorities are, first of all, are you able to like get up in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
That's a priority, right? If
Yep.
I can't get up in the morning, there's a problem. Life happens in an instant. So what can I do to make sure I get up in the morning? Okay. And then what are the most immediate things that you need to do? If it's your kids, if it's your husband or your wife or your caregiver. I mean, people just don't understand how, when you get sick and you lose all hope, there are your people that care about you. What do they care about you? Because you're related to them? There has to be some underlying thing that they
Mm-hmm.
care about you that you don't even see in yourself.
Yeah.
So what do they care about you? And then, ultimately you have your team, friends, family, workers, um, caregivers. And ultimately, we all go to bed alone. And ultimately, we go into that operation. You've got your team, you've got your caregivers, but
Mm-hmm.
you get you go into that operating room alone
Yeah.
and naked, alone, and you're just hoping that you're going to come out of the net on the other side.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because if you don't come out on the other side, you're dead.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if that's. I mean, that's kind of like my philosophy. You know, when I suffered, you know, when I was suffering from PTSD. I mean, you know, because I was getting shocked. You know, as I said 10 times. I mean, when you get shocked to your, you know, there is an electrical cord that goes to your heart, and boom, it shocks you. And I passed out every time I got shocked.
It's
I
overwhelming.
passed out. So I mean, like, you know, it could be worse. You know,
Yeah.
my, you know, my life of experience is, you know what? Whatever you tell me how bad it for you is, how bad it was for you, it could be worse for me. It could be better for me. But you know, there's someone else that has it worse.
Yeah. I grew up hearing that. My dad, that's one of my dad's favorite sayings that he would reinforce with me and my brother and sister was like, somebody out there always has it worse than you, no matter what. So,
You
yeah,
know?
that perspective is very important.
Yeah, I mean I mean it is important. So what your dad is trying to say to you is, in a weird way, the converse is of it could be worse. Think about the things that you should looking at the positive side of your life, the things that you should be grateful for, meaning you know, so you know, homeless people could be worse. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, you're everyone. It could be worse for anyone. And just think, you know, we should be grateful of the things that we have
Yeah,
today.
gratitude is very important. A lot of things that you talked about was very, the things that I kept thinking about was I'm in recovery. I'm a recovering addict and I go to recovery meetings and the way we have to change our perspective on things in order to stay clean is huge. And talking about optimism, gratitude, I hear gratitude so much
Mhm.
that it got annoying at first when I was new. I was like, gratitude again. Oh. But now I'm like, okay, I realize how important it is. And I also realize how important like just the small things in life are rather than all that stuff you were talking about, like just, that instant gratification. Cause that's why I use substances because I could instantly change how I felt. And I was obviously doing that for a reason and running away from my problems instead of facing them head on. And, it's not an easy road to take, but at the end of the road and most of the road that I passed the first couple of years where I really had to work on myself, it's been so much better than my life was before. It's not even close.
Well, I mean, I didn't know that about you.
Yeah. So fun fact.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you told me. But you know, I think what you and I both share is a sense of humor. You know,
Yes.
if you, and I always tell my friends, my sense of humor is like a gallows sense of humor, meaning, you know, I'm 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 looking at the light side of being of despair, right? You know,
Yeah.
like you know, and everyone says, "Oh, it could be worse," but it's like, how much worse? I mean, like, give me some reference because I don't think getting a heart is gonna be you know, a short term solution. Like this is pretty long term. Like you know, there's lots of risks, but it's like, you know, hey, I got the heart. This other guy was in the waiting for a heart. He was 6'5", 6'7", over a couple hundred pounds, and it's like he was waiting for his heart for 7 months. I got
Yeah.
my heart in a month. am I?
Yeah, because there's people on that list for even longer than 7 months, I would imagine.
Well, in the hospital.
Oh, in the hospital
No, they're in the hospital.
for that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you
So
got to.
I think a sense of humor, I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
whatever, carries a sense of irony, humor. And you have to like look at life. I mean, life is like, oh, and all these cliches. Is it half full? Is it half empty? You know, Sometimes it's like, I don't know. I mean, depending on my mood. Today it's positive. It's full. Sometimes it's negative. I think the glass is uh uh um half empty. It's like, every day where you and I are talking to each other over a podcast, it's your view or your vantage point versus my vantage point, my POV, a point of perspective of what am I looking at? The glass is full, the
Mhm.
glass is empty. So, every day it's a different glass.
Yeah, exactly. It's a completely different glass, or
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and it's for me also the next point in your life. Life is a constant evolution from being, from birth to death.
Mhm.
And in those years, you could catalog them, every 10 years, life changes. And I want to give back. That's me right now.
Mhm.
I was just a big taker before. I just wanted everything for me, me, me. And now it's like I I experienced that,
Yeah.
as a producer,
Mhm.
as a reality producer, and spoiler alert, most of these reality shows are set up. It's not like
Yeah.
actual events happening, and because there's a camera crew following you, it's like, okay, let's do that one more time.
Yeah.
So the spontaneity, being spontaneous, doesn't really, what is being spontaneous? It's like those moments of your life where like there's pure joy or pure misery.
Wow. Yeah. That what I could think about like was when you said the reality TV. Is there any reality TV that's actually reality TV anymore? Like, is it all just a complete like kind of oh we need to redo that
Well, I
or
mean, I think what's reality, you and me, you're
Mhm.
talking to me and I'm talking to you, that's real,
Yeah.
right? I I we're not redoing this. Okay,
No.
stop. I need a different angle.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I think all those TikTok videos, a lot of those Instagrams videos, yeah, they're kind of like redo, but there's moments in time where you've got a camera and you're filming something, and that's real.
Yeah. That's happening.
That's happening. So, probably most people, um, the reality or the simpleness of life is it's not that interesting. So you have to make it
Yeah.
exciting. And the only way to make it exciting is you have to have stakes. And the stakes, you know, what's at risk? Your health is at risk. And you don't know when you wake up tomorrow, if you walk out the door, what you're going to see or what happens to you
Mhm.
or your family or your loved ones or your friends. So you have your own network of people,
Mhm.
and you all have your own network of gossip. Everyone in the world
Oh yeah.
gossip, and it's almost like, could you believe the gossip, or do you disbelieve the gossip? There's always an element,
Yeah. Always.
you know. But going back to my my evolution of philosophy, everyone gets depressed. I mean, no one in the world gets out alive. Okay, so everyone gets
Yeah.
depressed. You have to allow yourself to have joy. Have joy in your life. Okay, simple things, because it's like, if I look at what happened to me from getting a virus that I couldn't speak, I had 2 strokes, heart failure, uh, getting a defibrillator implanted in my chest, suffering from PTSD, having pulmonary edema. I had what's my heart function. The pumping was 9%. An average person, their heart function is 50%. I was 9%. I mean, I'm having heart spasms. Part of the drugs that I'm on, immunosuppressants, are affecting my eyes. So I'm diabetic. I have migraine headaches, and part of the drugs that I'm on also cause neuropathy. So I can't kind of feel my hands and legs. Then I had my thyroid removed, and when I went into the hospital before I had a gallbladder. I went into the hospital with a gallbladder. I'd like to leave with a gallbladder. They removed my gallbladder because they thought it was dangerous. Now I have risk of cancer because I've the meds I'm on cause cancer. I'm always dizzy, constant diarrhea. I'm the donor had a drug had kind of a condition called CMV, and I'm negative, but the world, 50% of the world has it. I don't have it. I'm in that 50% that doesn't have it. They're just trying to figure out that if I get it, how do I react? Hopefully I want to be negative. And now the recent angiogram to check my heart, they had what's called fistulas, meaning like openings in my heart. We don't know where that came from. And when I had the defib, they left artifacts, which is euphemist. Artifacts is the nice word, but it was electrical cords in my heart. And then I had my parathyroid removed. And right now I've got these floaters in my eyes. So it's like, I'm talking to you. I'm
Yeah.
having a good time.
Yeah.
So I can complain all I want.
Yeah. Plenty to complain about.
There's plenty to
Yeah.
complain about. And you know what? There's another person who's got worse complaints.
Yep. Exactly. Because
But it's
yeah.
mental. It's mental. It's being, keeping your wits about yourself, your support system. And I mean, if you're alone in the world, you know what? There is help out there. You could just pick up the phone and someone will come. There's organizations that will help you. So you could deal with your mental issues, your physical issues. You just have to get up. Just get up off your ass and move, okay? And then create some purpose in your life. Get a pet. Get
Yeah.
a pet. And I think pets are great because they keep you moving, unless you want your pet to poop or pee all over your house. Some people don't do that, but assuming you get up,
Yeah.
have a pet, and you know what? Talk to people. The kindness of strangers. I'm like tearing up. You don't know. Have you met your neighbors? Have you met your people, in your neighborhood? Just chat. Just say something inane, stupid, but the
Yeah.
kindness of strangers will surprise you.
That's true. Yeah. Just saying
And
hi or waving or.
yeah, and clearly most people, like, I'm not a joiner. I don't want to socialize with my friends or this. It's like, well, then you're going to die of being alone.
Yeah.
40% of Americans dying of being alone. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to die alone, that's up to you.
Yeah.
If you want to, you know, play cards, do any, and you have to also find a routine. You know, there is, you know, hey, you know, your parents is like, oh, you've got a routine. It's like, well, routines are good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you get up in the morning, you do this. You know, if you're on a farm, you know, I mean, you have chores to do. That gives you purpose.
Yeah, that probably explains why a lot of people are afraid to retire, or when they retire, people quickly pass away like within a couple of years because they don't have that routine anymore.
You never need to retire. You never need to retire. That is a horrible world. Retire. It's just change jobs.
Yeah, just find something that's more up
It,
your speed.
yeah, you know what? You're just changing jobs. Went into an office for 30 years. You know what? Got Social Security. You know what? I'm just, you know, I'm going to the Y. I'm meeting people. I'm swimming. I'm whatever you're going to do. I'm dancing. You know,
Mhm.
find joy of your in your life and reward yourself. You know, you don't have to reward yourself. You know, every single day. You know, with food, but maybe that's the world likes coffee. Get some coffee.
Yeah.
Get a donut. Get something. But you know, as long as you're taking, you know, as long as you're, you know, the input and the output, as long as you're, you know, staying treading water, there's no shame in treading water. So you're not putting, you know, you're just in the water, you're not moving, but you're just there. That's also okay.
Yeah.
You know, better than drowning or better than swimming, just treading water. And everyone has some form of religion. You know, there's more help than you think.
Hmm.
And you know what? Money, you know, I mean, everyone worries about money. Even if
Yeah.
you're, you know, even if you're super wealthy and rich, you're worried about money. It's the absence of money to worry about. If you have no money, that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem. And you know what? You've got Social Security. I don't know your age, but you know, I mean, and you know what? Ultimately, everything hurts. Waking up in the morning as a kid, as an adult, a middle-aged person, uh, uh, everything hurts. Life hurts
Yeah.
physically and mentally. It all hurts, you know. And then you just have to have some hope in life, you know. And you every day is a new day to do it over. And you take one step at a time, triage your life one step at a time, and you know, manage the depression. You know, be optimistic. You know, I have a hard time of being a depressed person all the time.
Hmm.
So you know, give yourself some joy and manage the stress, you know, the anxiety of your life. It's like you're, you know, a friend of mine was like, his dad is like, you know, in his 80s, and he, you know, he wakes up, the father wakes up anxious. What about my son? What about my other son? What about my wife? What about my friends? It's like the guy is riddled with stress, and
Hmm.
it's like he needs to find another job and give himself some purpose, because
Yeah.
he
It doesn't,
can't.
and when you say job, you don't mean actual job like work, just something to do, something to keep yourself
Something to
occupied.
do depending on your life. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you're right now, you're working. I don't know about your family life, but you've got a job,
Hmm.
you've got responsibilities,
Yep.
you've got yeah, there's a job. And then but you have to give purpose. Whether, and I'm at the kind of like, I don't know, I'm 60-ish, so it's like, yeah, I'm trying to find purpose in my life. And so you have to understand those. A job could really, could I'm using job as a metaphor, for all the other things that you need to do. Get
Hobby,
rid of those,
whatever. Yeah.
yeah, but get rid of those
Passion.
toxic people in your life. And you know what? Face it, everyone dies.
Yeah.
You know, I
Hmm.
mean, I right now I'm being, hey, I'm prophet, I'm being like, hey, everyone dies, but I don't know right now. I'm not dying, but I don't know how I'm gonna feel. But sometimes, you know, die gracefully or die, you know, you just don't wanna, you don't wanna
Miserably.
you don't want to die in a way that causes injuries to all the people that you love.
Mm.
Because I know a neighbor of mine 2 weeks ago went to a hotel, jumped off the 40th floor, died, and he had Parkinson's. He was not doing well,
Mm.
but the damage he did to his wife and his
Yeah.
kids, uh, that's selfish. That is selfish. And treat yourself well. Just like be kind to yourself.
Yeah. The impact. Yeah. The impacts of suicide. I've dealt with it. It's scary. The ripple effect that it causes is
It's selfish.
indescribable. Yeah.
It is very selfish. I mean, if you want to go out and commit suicide, the ripple effect is devastating to everyone around you, and sometimes they never recover. And maybe that's what you wanted. Maybe that's exactly what you wanted. But if you care, you really and you think through it, that's not what you want them to remember you by.
Mm-mm.
And every I
Yeah.
pretty much.
You have to work through it and think through it because otherwise, when you're in that state, because I've been in that state before, it tricks you into thinking it's never going to get better. This is the best solution. You get tricked. But if the more you think about it, you're like, oh, this isn't permanent.
Yeah,
And I always heard with suicide, it's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. I've heard that cliche a million times.
I like that cliche.
Yeah, it's a good one because it's true, and I've seen it, and it's very yeah, it's very tough for me to even talk about it, think about because it affected my family. My uncle committed suicide when it's got to be over 15 years ago now, and still like I know it still affects my mom. Like they were really close, and I'll never forget how that impacted her. I can still remember the day that she heard it, and yeah, there's just a lot of trauma behind it that affects so many different people, and his sons and everything. And at the same time, it's like I still had to forgive him. I mean, I'm not going to be mad at him the rest of my life either, because that's not something I want to carry.
Mhm.
And I gotta understand. You gotta have empathy too at the same time. But it's a very that one's a it's a very complicated situation. But yeah, about your neighbor, that's just it's like yeah, because that's kind of how like what happened with Robin Williams. He was sick,
Yeah, I
and
think he had Parkinson's too.
yeah, that's the first thing I thought of when he said Parkinson's. I was like Robin Williams because
Mm.
even though I never knew him, obviously, but I was a huge fan of his. I remember that day too.
He's also bipolar. He had,
Yeah.
he's got some issues, but I'm just saying
Hmm.
it is really selfish. It's a very selfish solution, and just going kind of like, every day you have a chance to do it over.
Hmm.
That's the unique thing. It's almost like dogs. They have no memory of the past. They have no memory of the future. They're just in the present.
Yeah.
Live in the present. And it's so simple and so obvious, but people don't do it.
I've envied dogs before for that very reason.
What?
I've envied dogs for that very reason before. I'd be like, man, how cool
Yeah.
would it be just to live in a dog's life for a day?
Yeah. Well, especially if they've got good owners.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Uh, and again, easy to say, hard to employ, but don't be a victim of circumstances. Woe is me, the sky is falling. These things are temporary.
Hmm.
Be patient, because time, in a weird way, yes, I'm not talking about people who are chronically ill and they ultimately will die, and they're in so much pain. But if if you weather the storm and have patience, you will see a better tomorrow. And just try to be optimistic
Hmm.
in the midst of depression. You know, what do you have, as you said, what do you have to be grateful for? And I mean,
A lot. When I'm thinking about me personally, a lot.
yeah, yeah. And you don't want to be that person who committed suicide and then, you know, everyone thinks the first thing he committed suicide. I mean, that's the first thing that everyone says. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to. That's your starting point.
Yeah,
So I really enjoyed our conversation. I hope some of your audience got something out of it. I
I think
really
that I did. I mean, I changed. I've had one of those weird days where I've been in my head a lot. So hearing your story really helped me as well. So I think there's a lot of people that can relate to it, and that'll be able to put a better perspective on things. Because I assume before you went through everything, you said you were more of a taker. You said,
yeah.
and your perspective was not completely different, but a little bit different, at least, obviously. Before you went through everything you did with all your heart situation. So how would you say, like, if you had to, this is kind of a weird question, but if you had to like go back and talk to that guy, what would you tell him?
Well, I mean, like, I always say that, like, what would the 20-year-old say to the
Yeah,
6-year-old? You know, I would just say, be patient. You
yeah.
know, you know, just
It sounded like
you
you
know,
were really, I mean, obviously being a producer and doing things, you were just always living that life on the go, trying to get that next deal and
yeah.
get things done. And now you're more like, hey, let's enjoy these moments, and you kind of have that perspective now. Is that kind of on the ball?
No, I think that's not on the ball. That is the perspective.
Yeah.
You know, it's being a little, trying to keep the kid in me forever, but tried to be mature enough to say, you know, um, the the anxiety and the stress that you put yourself under, the only person that you can control is you.
Hmm.
Can't control your wife, your parents. You can't control kids. The only person you can control is you, and you can tell people what to do. You can suggest what they should do. Most people yell,
Hmm.
and if you're yelling, you're not listening.
No.
If you're yelling, you're convincing yourself you're right, but there is another point of view of what that other person is experiencing. And I need to understand that for me personally. I mean, I always felt like I am very righteous. I know the right thing to do. It's like you're doing the wrong thing. It's like, who am I to say
Yeah.
what's what you're doing is right or wrong. I mean, I'm not the right person to tell you, I mean, I'm not, there's this the kind of like, I'm not your God. I'm not telling you
Hmm.
what to do or what not to do. So I'm just telling you what I would do in my perspective.
Hmm.
And if everyone has their own perspective, and it's very, very hard and challenging to understand other people's perspective. And you look at people in their own skin, whether you're, what motivated someone to kill someone, what motivated someone to rob someone, what motivated someone to defraud an elderly person, you know, you know,
Yeah, what was
what
their
was going on
intentions?
in their what was going on in their life. They most people, have these, you know assuming you know right from wrong. That's
Mm.
that's a that's an assumption we all
Yeah.
make. People don't always know right from wrong. And I grew up in a family, dysfunctional family, granted, dysfunctional family,
Hmm.
but I knew my view of what right from wrong, and I didn't grow up with a criminal past, and I didn't grow up in certain circumstances. I always had a roof over my head,
Hmm.
and and some food, and I went to college and got educated. But I mean, like, I mean, I I had things that I took for granted, but not everyone has those things.
Hmm.
Some people have more, some people have less,
Yeah.
you know, but I can't judge people because I don't know what went through their head.
Yeah.
All I can do is judge people by kind of, I'm not even society standards, but what the law says you should do and what the law said you can't do. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You just can't pull a gun on someone and rob them. It's like that's illegal,
Yeah.
but it happens all the time.
Yeah. Is I mean, you're obviously, I mean, I shouldn't assume, but you're in a better part of LA, but there's obviously pockets of LA so big. There's just probably there's pockets where it's like, oh, you shouldn't go there.
Hey, so I live in Beverly Hills. There's
Okay.
30,000 people that live in Beverly Hills.
Okay.
I'm privileged. I'm lucky.
Hmm.
You know, I don't think I would be living in Beverly Hills if I didn't buy my house 30 years ago. I mean, it's
Yeah.
kind of like unaffordable,
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm lucky. And the police respond, within 3 minutes. The paramedics respond in 3 minutes. So I'm privileged, um, but health wise, I don't think I'm lucky in health wise. I've got so many health issues, but I have to, like, wake up in the morning and create. I mean, I'm still creating reality shows,
Hmm.
and create things that I want to manifest, but I I'm unlucky in health, but I'm fortunate that
In other ways.
in other ways. And 50 years ago, without the event of what's called a implantable cardio defibrillator in my chest, I would be dead.
Mm. Yeah. The technology didn't exist.
exactly. And then heart transplants, 50 years ago, or even, the life expectancy, has now gone with heart transplants. It's probably about 90% people survive.
And as far as
So,
how long you can survive on a new heart, probably has gone way up too.
right. I mean, I did not get a young heart, which I found out like a week ago.
You
It's
don't get
like,
all the stats.
well, they kind of like, all it was a woman's heart. Okay. And then you have an opportunity to send them a letter to the family as a,
Hmm.
thank you, or don't. So
Yeah.
I chose to send them a letter thanking the family for donating their uh, uh, the heart from their loved one to me.
Hmm.
Um, and I don't know if the woman. I have no idea, but I recently found out the woman was 59, which I was surprised. But everyone wants like a young heart,
Yeah.
a young heart from a guy that like or woman that was healthy and had a fatality or a car crash, but the heart survived. So I mean, but I don't know about I don't know that. So my story, it's a 59-year-old woman. I don't know anything about her,
You don't know much else about her.
but I thank the family.
Hmm. Did they ever respond to that, or?
There's no, they did not respond. But I mean, they could
I mean, how?
respond.
What's the response? I mean, that you got to think of it that way. Like, how do you respond to that kind of thing anyway? Like at the same time, because they're
Yeah,
probably grieving.
it's almost like after a year they gave the heart, and then you got this letter from the stranger
Yeah.
saying thank you. Yeah, I mean, I had mixed emotions to send that letter. So originally it was like, oh my God, she gave me life, and it was after a month. It's like fantastic. This is so
Yeah.
great. And then I experienced all the dormant issues that
Complications. Yeah.
complications that were very present in my when you donate the heart. I don't know if this woman had spasms, but maybe it's dormant, or maybe when when they gave me the heart, it manifested or
Hmm.
became apparent. So I don't know for sure. They gave me the heart, uh, and yeah, I had mixed emotions about sending that letter, but it was something I wanted to do. But I waited.
Hmm.
So
But yeah, and ultimately it was her decision to give you the heart because you're writing a letter to her family, which they didn't make that decision, right? Isn't that? I
no,
mean,
I think you're wrong. I think the family made those
the family
decisions.
makes the decision.
Yeah, she died.
Okay, I didn't know. Like it was
Well, I mean, I don't know if she had on the
like if she
her
said she would be an
license.
organ donor. Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe she had that. But ultimately, they have to get permission. Well,
Oh, okay.
no, but you're right. So I maybe she was not an organ donor.
And they
They had
asked
to
the
get
family,
permission, because if you were just on the license said you're an organ
and
donor,
it's automatic.
it's automatic. Yeah, yeah. So clearly they had to get permission from the family.
Mm. Yeah. So yeah, ultimately, I think writing that letter was probably a good call.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Ironically, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time today. I got to wrap things up just because I got to get to a I got to get to a gig actually in an hour. So I got to
What
get
do
my
you are you what do you do? Are you
doing comedy stand up.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, I'm an opening act. So I got to do 3 to 5 minutes, but I got to make sure I'm on my toes because there's some people from out of town that are performing. No like huge names or anything, but they got some decent buzz, and
Wow.
like, it's a good opportunity.
I
That's
think being I don't know how. what you do? You tell stories, or do you have jokes?
Yeah, mine's more jokes, perspective,
Okay.
observational. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm an observational person.
Yeah.
The craziness of like life. It's like,
Oh yeah. Just there's so many weird things going on.
yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing your little bit about you and your issues, and being an addict. What type of drug? What was your choice of?
I don't like to say it on here just
Oh,
because it's
okay,
recorded.
fine, okay, fine,
And
okay.
in case my employer listens,
No, no,
uh,
it's fine. No, no.
there was multiple, but
Okay.
it was just one of the. I was just a bar rat partier, like you know, wanted to stay up till live a rock star lifestyle without being a rock star, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I had a lot of people that worked for me that had that lifestyle, and ultimately some died, and some got rehabilitated, and some grew out of it. So I'm glad that you grew out of it.
Yeah. It's I don't really look back anymore because it's so like night and day difference of what could happen if I went back. I already know, and being in recovery, people relapse. It's a part of it. Some people, it's a part of their story, and hasn't happened to me, and other people have done that research for me, and I'm just like, okay, that. And then some of them come back and they're like, yeah, it's still terrible out there. I'm like, thanks for telling me and letting me know.
No, no, I think clearly you're not alone, and
No.
clearly millions of people have had. Um, um, I feel like most people have some form of addiction,
Oh yeah.
whether they know it or not. You could say, people watch TV incessantly.
Hmm.
Are you a TV addict? I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
but I'm saying everyone has some addiction. And so I'm glad that you managed it. And again, our show, or what we're talking about, it's getting a solution. For me, it was hard, uh, and managing a new life.
Hmm.
And this is my philosophy. Doesn't mean it's right for everyone, but I feel like health, food, um, having a support system, having some form of um, you know uh, purpose in your life, whether it's your job, family, you know, whether it's herding goats or whatever. I mean, you have to wake up in the morning and have something that you want to do.
Hmm.
And this is what I want to do. I want to talk to you guys, and you know get more podcasts, and develop myself as a speaker. I feel like I've got a good message to tell people, like, when you're really down, and
Do you
there's
feel
no
like
up.
almost it's a disservice if you're not sharing that message? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, that's kind of how I feel sometimes. Like, that's why I share that, because not everybody wants to admit that they're an addict, but I share that because somebody out there's gonna be like, oh, he's openly saying that, and like, yeah, I'm letting people know that they're not alone.
yeah.
So
And if you've got so many more podcasts that you could recommend me to, I don't, it doesn't matter how big or small. It's just for me, it's just telling my story.
yeah, I definitely have a couple, so I
Okay.
will reach out, and yeah, I got to get things wrapped up. But again, thank you
Yeah.
so much, Jonathan,
Well,
and for sharing so openly.
clearly we covered a lot of bases,
Yeah,
so hopefully you can weave something uh, 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 concrete out of this discussion, free flowing discussion. But I appreciate your time. I really appreciate what you. Thank you for inviting me on your show, Colin. I really appreciate that.
absolutely.